Okay, so I think it's 8:05, and we'll start while others join us. All right. Thank you everybody for coming in. I can see some people from outside of Nigeria already here. Thank you so much for joining in at such a short notice. Before I start, I would like to apologize for the delay in sending the information. We were supposed to have this meeting last week. Please, if you are not speaking, please mute yourself if you are not speaking so that we can have only one voice at a time. Yeah, as I was saying, I want to sincerely apologize to everybody that was hoping to partake in this meeting last week Sunday. It was just not able to happen due to a lot of reasons. But please accept my sincere apologies because I think the major delay in communication came from me. But I'm happy that we are able to put this together and to be able to have it today. And I'm also not able to present on video because I don't have light where I am now. But don't worry, my will be as audible as possible. Hold on. My voice is going to be as audible as possible. So, and I'm also going to be sharing a slide that has a bullet point while I would be discussing more on what my presentation is today. So let me start with the graphic design. Can't even seem to find the one for. Can't even seem to find the one for this month. Hold on.
Victoria?
Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, I can see. It's clear.
Okay. Okay. So today's theme is on the importance of community support. Am I still audible? Can everybody hear me?
Yes, you are.
Okay, okay. And I also believe you can see my screen. So today is all about the importance of community support. And I'll be sharing this slide I created just for bullet points. In case you're just hearing my voice for the very first time, my name is Victoria Wanne, actually Victoria Chidima Wanne, and I am the founder and executive director of the Stutter Awareness Foundation. I'm introducing myself because over time I've always allowed um, other leaders in the organization to lead to be able to tell the world their perspective, to be able to show that people who stutter have a place in society, that their voices matters, and their voices are, shaping narratives. So I think for this year, this is actually the first time I'm coming aboard to present. So Just wanted to make sure that everybody got my name. Victoria Wanne, founder and executive director of the Stutter Awareness Foundation. So I'll just move, straight into what
Right.
we're
Okay.
discussing today.
Like,
Can you guys hear me? Please, we are not presenting. Let me even make somebody. Let me make Prince a co-host here. Um,
that is someone.
hold on. Prince, you're on board, right? I'm going to make you a
Okay, we're slide.
talking.
Somebody's mic is on.
Yes, go ahead and mute the person. I just made you a co-host. You should be able to mute the person that you want to focus on the presentation. Okay, I've muted the person.
Thank you for muting the person. My network was hanging. Sorry, Victoria, I can't hear you. Are you muted? Seems like you're muted, Victoria.
Oh, I think I muted myself while trying to mute the other person.
Yes, you muted yourself.
Oh my goodness. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, great. So as I was saying, I said good evening once again, everybody, and thank you for joining our monthly meeting. This is the June edition, and that is being co-hosted by myself. So right into our slide, we have why community matters. Like I said, please take into note what the topic for this month is, because that is basically what we are going to be discussing. Why community matters. That's the first page on my slide. Now, as someone who has spent a lot of years advocating for people who stutter, there's something that I have learned. What I've learned is that awareness alone is not enough. That is, I'm saying, talking about stuttering, creating awareness about stuttering, preaching about stuttering is not enough. And this is because people who stutter do not need only information, right? They don't just need to be told what stuttering is or what stuttering is not. They need people. And that is where why community matters comes in. They need understanding. They need encouragement. They need a community that reminds them that their voices matters. What I would like to do today is I would like for us to reflect on why community support is one of the most powerful tools that we have in helping people who stutter live confidently and authentically, right? When we talk about community, there's so many things that community would do to a person who stutters. I just spoke about how information is just not the only thing. Now, information is very important. It is very sacrosanct. Yes, we know, but it is not the only thing. Because with the emergence of community into the picture, what it does is it reduces isolation, right? It means that a person who stutters does not feel like he's alone, because now you have a community of people who speak like you, who sound like you, who maybe do things the way you do them. And if you don't have that community, you may just feel isolated. You may feel like you are different or you are the only one that speaks this way and all of that. This is why community is very important. It will reduce and in most cases even eliminate that isolation, right? It also creates belonging. So it's like, I'll give an example of a gang in school, right? When you see a group of friends that do things the same way, they could just be stubborn kids and all of that, rough and all of that, but because they do things in a certain way, they feel like they belong to each other. They feel like one person just feels like he or she belongs to this certain set of friends. So that's what community does. It creates a sense of belonging. And a lot of people would be able to say that since joining this community here of the Stutter Awareness Foundation, if you were somebody who lived in a state, who was in a school where you just you are the only person that stutters and you're just alone, what joining the Stutter Awareness Foundation will do to you is that it will show you that you belong here, right? It will show you that you belong here, because then the people that are here are people that speak like you, or people like that sound like you, also people that are looking for information like you. So it creates that sense of belonging. It also encourages confidence and self-expression. Confidence in the sense that you now know that, yes, I'm not the only one who speaks this way. In fact, when you now arm yourself with certain information that you need, that you didn't have access to, then you have those informations, you become confident. You then know that, okay, yes, I know why I speak this way. It is because of the way my brain processes speech. You may not know this before and you just feel shy, but when you know it, you are now confident to say, okay, yes, it is because of the way my brain processes speech. That is why I speak this way. And you're self-aware. So when you're self-aware, you can self-express yourself. In fact, you can be one of those persons who become so self-aware that before you even talk or make a presentation to a crowd, which you may actually be scared of, you go ahead to say, I'm a person who stutters, but I am, and this presentation I am going to do, I most likely will stutter, but please bear with me, right? Please bear with me. So when you do things like this, it gives you self-awareness, it gives you confidence, it encourages you in every aspect to just be yourself. And the last thing on this first slide is reminds people who stutter that they are not alone. It's, I think every point connects to each other. I want you to, when you think about everything I've said today, you think of the Stutter Awareness Foundation as the community. And that's one of the reasons why I specifically chose this topic, because most people would be listening to me and say, oh, I rather think, oh, she's not stuttering, she's speaking fluently. Why did she do this community? Why did she create this community? What was the inspiration behind it and all of that? A lot of people will ask that, that question around it. And that's because I have a brother who stutters, and I have lived with him for so many years, and I've gotten to understand that community is very important, because community was what was missing for him. I didn't come into the picture to remove stuttering or heal it. No. But one thing that I have understood for a very long time is the importance of community. And then when I saw the absence of the importance of community, I knew that that community had to be created. So for me, it's now like this community is also a safe space for my brother. If I want to talk to him so much about, oh, you are not alone, oh, you are not different, you're not this, you're not that. The best way to do it is with a community. This way, this community reminds him every day that he is not alone. So that's one of you know, the importance of community. Why community is very important when it comes to stuttering. The second slide is on how support changes lives, right? How support to change lives. Safe space for sharing anything. In the using the Stutter Awareness Foundation again as a platform to talk about people sharing their stories. And one thing that we started on with the Stutter Awareness Foundation was people coming in to share their stories. Is there anybody here who has ever watched a video on any of our platforms where somebody was narrating his or her story about stuttering? Could be about how it started, when the person noticed, how people reacted, how family supported, different things. I just want to hear your thoughts at this point. Is there anybody who has ever watched such video on my platform, on the Stutter Awareness Foundation platform rather? Please, if you have, I just want you to unmute and say yes, you have.
Yeah, like I myself have watched like several videos on the channel on TikTok and Facebook.
So, is there
Hello, can you?
anybody? Yeah, I can hear you. Is there anybody?
Yes,
Okay, who is speaking at the moment?
this is Taonga Nyilenda.
Oh,
I've watched several videos on TikTok.
okay, great. So that is people sharing their story, and we try to make it a safe space as much as possible for people to be able to, share their story. Because one of the things that this does is to inspire other people. It inspires other people to share their story as well. And that's everything about community. It inspires every other person to share their story as well and feel safe about it. I've gotten a lot of messages where people just come and say, I've been so shy about this, I've been so embarrassed about this, about stuttering. But then seeing somebody openly sharing their story on this platform gives me the freedom, the confidence to know that I can do the same and not even feel bad about it. So that's one of the importance of community. We also have peer encouragement and mentorship. One of the things that the community does is that some people become a role model, become a source of encouragement, and in fact, mentorship to some others. When somebody who is, let's say, 18 years, 17 years, who stutters, a young boy or a young girl comes in and joins this community and then sees that somebody else who stutters is presenting or is doing something really well, that person gets encouraged. And that's why every person I have ever invited to our meetings from the time we started are people who stutter. Not just people who stutter, but people who stutter that have gone ahead to live their lives. They have been doing amazing things. Could be different countries. I think the last time we had somebody from the US, we had somebody from Israel, Mr. Hanan. I mean, he hosted the International Stuttering Awareness Day with me last year. We have people from Ghana, Kenya. different countries, people who have gone ahead of their stuttering, of their stutter, come on this platform to encourage every other person. I think a few months back, we also had Mrs. Omei Obong, somebody who I met in a conference here in Nigeria. And surprisingly, she was hosting a panel section. A lot of people who started would say, "Oh, I have speech impediment. I don't think I can. I don't even like talking. I don't like speaking with my friends. In fact, I don't even have friends." But then this is somebody who stutters, that is on a stage asking questions to other fluent speakers and elaborating on the points that they said. And one of the reasons I was able to notice that the woman stutters is because I already have this idea, the knowledge about it. So no matter how she tried to talk, I knew she stuttered, but I was so impressed by how much she did not let her stuttering define her. Somebody like that could have opted for, oh, let me do a role in this organization that does not require me to speak. But she went on to challenge herself by putting herself at the forefront. And that was one of the reasons why I brought her in. So people like that will just become a source of encouragement and mentorship. And that's why I told her, oh, Ma, please, I would like you to come to our platform to speak. I mean, I would love these young people to hear from you and know that stuttering does not define them. In fact, if you run away from the fact that you stutter, you won't be able to do anything. You would not do the things that you really love because you just have this mindset that you can't do it. And when you have a mindset of you cannot do it, I promise you, you will not do anything. But if you have the mindset of you can or you will try, there's a probability that something good will come out of it. So that's why the community support, brings in this source of peer encouragement and mentorship. We also have increased self-advocacy. For a lot of people who have joined the Stutter Awareness Foundation, who had no idea of what community support is, when you see stories being shared, I mean, on the platform, some days we have people talk about how their day went at work. And then there's somebody who has had a bad day at work who is just not even able to talk, right? But when the person sees somebody coming out to say, oh, this was what I encountered and this is how I tried, to surmount whatever challenge came my way that day, somebody's just fired up and, oh, okay, I think these challenges is not just for people who stutter, it's just issues that may arise daily and, people find a way to be able to help themselves out. So the community support creates increased self-advocacy. You become an advocate of yourself. I said this earlier that when you're so self-aware, one of the things that could happen, most likely would happen, is that you are in charge of your stuttering. You want to make a presentation, you are able to inform the audience ahead. My name is this and I stutter, and I'm going to try to be able to do this presentation. Please take notes, or rather listen to what I am going to say regardless of my stutter. When you are self-aware, when you self-advocate, I promise you, people around you would not be able to use that against you at all because they know that you are self-aware. So that's what community support does. It gives you increased self-advocacy, better mental health and emotional well-being. When you have information, when you have community support, when you know you are not alone, you just have a good mental state of mind. And one of the ways to have this good mental state of mind is to ensure that you don't listen to negative voices. A lot of people will tell you this and that and this about your stuttering, how you speak different, how you're not fit to be here, how different things. But when you have this community support, and you are informed, you are well aware of how you speak and probably how you talk, everything, you just have a better mental state of mind because nobody is able to talk to you in a way that you now start feeling less of yourself. You won't feel less of yourself when you know who you are. You cannot feel less of yourself, when you know who you are, and when you are in charge. It is when you let others become in charge, that's when you can develop a bad mental state of mind, because what every other person tells you gets to you, and you yourself, you don't tell yourself anything that should make you feel good. So this whole community support, it helps to give you a better mental and emotional well-being. Is there anybody here who has I asked the question about safe space for sharing stories, and a lot of people said they've watched one or two videos on our platforms where people have shared that story. Now I'm going to ask, is there a way these stories being shared, is there a way the stories have made you feel? Like, how did you feel when you watched somebody whose stutter come on a global platform to share their story? How did you feel? I want somebody to be able to answer this. The mic is open. If there was a way you felt, good or bad, I just want to know how you felt. Good or bad, you can
Okay,
unmute yourself and tell me how you felt
Victoria.
seeing somebody stutter. Yeah?
Yeah, for me, I felt really good. Like I felt really good, and it encouraged me actually. It encouraged me seeing somebody else that talks like me. It encouraged
Mm,
me, and it made me to like not look down on myself, and it gave me more confidence to talk whenever I'm talking. Because before I joined this foundation, I was somebody that I don't like talking because of my stammering. I don't like talking because
uh,
most times I talk, people laugh at me. But since I joined, it's just like something happened to me actually on the inside. I feel much more confident to talk to people. So I would
mm,
say like I really felt good, and it really changed my perspective, my mentality.
okay. That's good. Thank you so much, Prince. Um, Honestly, a lot of people would share in your perspective of how they also felt in when they saw those videos. Generally, we all know that stuttering can sometimes impact self-esteem, confidence, and even emotional well-being. But one of the things that supportive community would do is to help to reduce the feeling of anxiety, loneliness, and frustration by providing emotional support and understanding. Now, you would all agree with me that when people feel seen, when people feel heard, and when they feel accepted, their overall well-being will improve. It's like you're talking to somebody. You keep telling the person something. It could be something that you like, and the person would do the exact opposite of it. You feel like you're not being heard, right? Or you are doing something, it could be at your workplace. You try to tidy up every document, you try to get sales into the company, you try to do everything that you try to do to ensure that the company is moving forward. But just something is just ensuring that you are not being seen. Nobody is acknowledging your efforts. No matter how hard you try, you are almost invisible. You're not being heard, you're not being accepted. Such things would, it will impact your well-being. And that's just how it feels with stuttering. When it feels like when you talk, people don't listen to you, they want to listen to your stutter. Such thing would just, it will just impact your overall well-being. But community support does not just help individuals to survive, it helps them thrive. A lot of people who have once, struggled silently, they've become advocates, mentors, volunteers, and even leaders who use their experience to support others. I'm going to use an example of Prince, who just answered a question I asked now. You heard him before he joined the organization, having the idea, oh, that nothing like this existed or there was no support. But then seeing this just made him become very committed. I remember the first time I had a conversation with Prince one-on-one, I just knew he was somebody who was so interested in community. He is somebody who, if given or added or included in a community, would ensure that that community survives. And that's one of the reasons why he is hosting this event today as a volunteer. Coming in as somebody who is just, thankful that there is something like this going on to lead in the organization is something that shows how much community will transform people. Mr. Daniel Uyere is unable to join us today. He was also supposed to host, but he's unable to host as well. He's also somebody who came in like that and became a leader in the community. Now, such a person who has come in and already started leading is already in charge. Such person cannot walk into a room and he will be made, he will feel less of himself because he stutters. Because this person already knows that he stutters, but he still goes on to do things that he didn't feel he would be able to do before. He has now gained confidence and all of that. So these are the things that community support does. I'm going to try to rush my presentation today so that Prince can take up for me. So the last slide is our role at the Stutter Awareness Foundation. Our role at the Stutter Awareness Foundation, building supportive platforms, supportive environment across Nigeria. One of the things that made me start up the Stutter Awareness Foundation, like I said, was because of my younger brother who has stuttered for over 2 decades without any form of support. There was no therapy, there was no community, there was no accurate information. Everything about stuttering in Nigeria had a huge gap that felt like it was an issue of little or no importance. And that was why I started it. So the role of the Stutter Awareness Foundation has been majorly to fill all this gap I have just identified. The information, okay, there's no accurate information, right? Informations that we had at all about stuttering in Nigeria were as far back as 1990 something, and such organizations were no longer existing because there was no structure. It's like whoever started it, whoever began to talk about it, there was no structure on how such organization should outlive such person, right? So the role of the Stutter Awareness Foundation has been to bridge the gap, and that's why you see on all our platforms information starting from storytelling. Now we are not just going to bank on what the US has said about stuttering or what the World Health Organization has said about stuttering. We are not more we are more we're thinking more about what is this person who stutters that we can see, what is this person feeling, what are they saying to this person. Yes, global standard, global data, they're very important to help us trace the roots of so many things. It's been helpful, but the information that we have put out has been more about the people who are concerned with the whole issue of stuttering, starting with the story of my brother. If you go to our page and you scroll to the very first video, you will see that most of those videos were the ones that he did, talking about what he felt. What were the things that went through his head when people tell him, speak well now, why are you speaking that way? What were the things he felt? How did he handle those things mentally and emotionally? What were the supports that he got from his family, from his friends, from the society, from the government? All of these things are the information that we put out. And then talking about the myth where they say, oh, somebody who stutters is not intelligent. And then we correct such information by using somebody who stutters, who is an example here, somebody who has gone on to further his education, somebody who has gone to the university, somebody who has graduated with a 2-1 from accounting from a very prestigious federal institutions. These are all the information that we need to challenge every wrong narrative, not just global standard. So this was how we filled all of this gap that we saw. And then when we talk about therapy, we now had to also look at our government institutions. Of course, we're not going to just talk about private because we know that most times when you have money, you can get what you want. Yes, but we know the population, especially in Nigeria, and we know the population of youths. And then we know that even if they say 1% of the global population stutters, and we take it back to ourselves and say, okay, what is the 1% of the Nigerian population? And if this is the amount of people that stutter, what is the country doing about it? What is the government doing about it? So these are all of the things that we did. Even I had to send my brother to a government hospital to see if he is going to be assessed. Let's say you even have the information that maybe you need therapy as somebody who stutters to be able to speak well. If you go into a government institution, would you be able to get the required assistance, the required medical check that you need? And the answer is no. Because when he went, he was having it was a general practice doctor that was seeing him rather than a speech therapist. And when a general practice doctor sees you, somebody who has no practical knowledge about stuttering assessment, let me tell you some of the things that that practice doctor will do. He's going to check your blood type, your blood level. He will check everything about your overall health, leaving the exact the thing that brought you to that hospital, leaving it out of it. And when I saw the report of somebody who went for a speech assessment, and the person comes back with blood level, blood sugar, blood this, blood that, and all of that, I was so ashamed of what it was. But let me tell you the truth. This is what is actually happening. I do not know about most African countries because I know we have a lot of people from other countries here with us. But this is the reality of Nigeria. And one of the ways that we are trying to change it, which is the role of staff, is to ensure that we tell the story the way it is so that the government can do something about it. And so that also those who really require this speech therapy would also be able to know how to go about it. You know that you don't have to see a GPC doctor, you have to see a speech therapist. I mean, if you have the money for a private hospital, of which they're not so much actually, because in Nigeria, when you are stuttering, they say you don't really have medical issue. You can hear, you can speak at least, you can eat. Such the fact that you're not fluent is not something that is of much importance, and that's why a lot of families really do not do anything about their children when they start stuttering. A lot of people also is because of the lack of information. So one thing we're trying to do is bridge that gap. If you've gone through our platforms, you'll see a lot of media collaborations with Premium Times, with Arise, with News Central, Vanguard, New Nigeria, different news papers where we've had to publish the reality of stuttering in Africa. And bridging that gap is not enough. We all have to be involved. We have to create this awareness. We have to educate our families. We have to let the school has to be a safe space for people who stutter. Children should be given equal opportunity. So these are one of the ways that the Stutter Awareness Foundation has been trying to ensure that in collaboration with the community that we have built, that we now have impact that even outlives us. One of the things I've also tried to do with the Stutter Awareness Foundation is to be able to draft a legal framework. Now, when I talk about a legal framework, I'm talking about an individualized education plan for people who stutter. That is something that does not exist. But when you go to countries like the US, the UK, and so many other developed countries, you see IEP, individualized education plan, tailored to the need of this person that stutters, so that such person can be able to have equal opportunity in the school, equal opportunity in the workplace, equal opportunity in every part of society. So These things in combination is what the Stutter Awareness Foundation has been able to do. And I hope that everybody who has been a part of this community, whether from Nigeria or from Gambia or from Malawi or Namibia, you are listening to me now, I just want you to know that this community right here is a backbone. This community right here is something that reminds you every day that you are not alone. And I hope that the Total Awareness continues to create the safe space for everybody to be able to share their story and find community support. I will be ending my presentation here. I was supposed to just take 30 minutes, but it's already for 46 minutes. So thank you so much, everybody. If you have any questions, I can take them in 1 minute. But if you don't, and it's a contribution, then please feel free to take the mic, and Prince will take it up from there. Thank you.
Victoria. Thank you so much, Victoria. That was very educative and helpful. I learned a lot from that, from what you just said. You said it all. Community, community, community. Community is the key, is the top key in our journey with stuttering. You talked about how how um how community support gives us good mental state of mind. Yes, that's very important. Your mental state of mind is very, very important. You don't listen to negative voices, just like Victoria said, you don't listen to negative voices. You know who you are. You know what you are made of. The same way God made made uh, made uh, made the other people talking. That is the same way that He made you talking. You are exactly the same way they are. God is not a partial God, so you should never look down on yourself. You should always have a positive picture of yourself. And also, Victoria, you said that you cannot feel less of yourself if you know who you are. That that statement really got me. You cannot feel less of yourself if you know who you are. So it's very important. First of all, in your journey with stuttering, it's very important that you know who you are. You know that you are exactly like you are made exactly the same way that God made every other person. You are not less. You are not lesser or less. Very, very educative and helpful. Yeah. So, does anyone have question to ask? If you have a question, you can open up your mic and talk. Does anyone have a question? Mr. Adbel Omas, do you have a question? Favor, ideology, Jide, Stephen Ini, Tanoga. Taoga, I'm expecting a question from you because you're a very active participant. I'm expecting a question from you. Victoria Alabi, if you have a question, you can open up your mic and ask, or a
Right.
contribution or something you have to say.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prince, and thank you, Victoria, from the
Yeah.
Stotel Foundation. Yeah, it was a very nice conversation. I mean, what you shared was very interesting because when I also joined the Stotel Foundation, I think I saw you guys from TikTok, and I found it really interesting to see that there's a community like such in Nigeria. I mean, I don't know, maybe what I've seen. Um, So it's a very nice community. I think there was a time on the group someone chatted me, maybe just he was also like struggling. Maybe he has a very chronic stuttering ability. So he feels like he feels lost. So he just chatted me, maybe just to see who could help him out and things like that. And I just realized that so many people like us, like we have stuttering disabilities, it's we kind of um, have low self-esteem in a way. So it takes a lot of encouragement, a lot of believing in yourself to come out of it. And and just speak. So I just wanted to buttress what Victoria also said, where she mentioned, where you yourself, Prince, also mentioned that, when you see someone stuttering and they pull themselves out for public speaking, and they killed it, or they smashed it, they were speaking, and you won't even know that they were stammering. So I could actually relate to that, because there was a preacher, like a very preacher that I really so much admire in my church. And when he talks, you know that his speech will always skipping. His speech were always skipping, but he didn't allow that. He delivered whatsoever he had to say, and people listen, and people are always blessed anytime he talks. So it makes me to really reflect on, like, you don't diminish or displace yourself because you are a stammerer. No, myself is an example. I realized that if I'm hungry, if I'm very not comfortable, or if I'm anxious, I stutter a lot. So I have to, like, notice. I mean, know what exactly makes me to get out of my speech, and I just can't talk in a way that I should flow with whatever I'm saying. So I try to relax my mind, think before I talk, or just express myself the way it is. It's always very hard to really put that forth, to really bring that to to bring that to yourself, to try to push it out and just speak. But the moment you keep practicing, you keep telling yourself positive things, just like you said, that say positiveness to yourself. I've been laughed, during, when I was very younger than this, I had a very chronic stammering this thing that people, when I talk, like, my classmates laugh at me, they make jest of me. Even recently, I was talking to someone, and because of the way I speak, the guy was laughing. I was not like, oh, you think I'm stammering, right? So you think it's okay for you to just laugh? Do you know how I feel because you're laughing? Like, I've confronted the guy, and he felt bad for doing that to me, and it was like, I sorry that I just like the way I was talking. I said, stop telling him that you like the way I'm talking. You don't know what I'm battling with. You don't know what I'm struggling with. So don't just, like, make me feel, because it's something I'm used to. People always laugh at me anytime I talk. So I try not to, like, to bring forth that, oh, I'm stammering, don't give me some grace. No, I just say it. I don't want that to stigmatize me in a way that will not make me express my mind, and for whatsoever opportunity. So I'm just trying to say this to every other person too on this channel that is finding it hard to talk. You might be looking at me and, but we are talking now, you're not stammering. Well, I can know the struggle I'm feeling inside, how I'm pushing my words, but it's just you. It's just you. Just say those words, even if you are stammering. Don't You'll be ashamed, but don't let the shame overwhelm you, and you forget who you are, or whatever it is. So please, as sort as we are here in our community, I really like what this foundation is doing. And I really love the fact that we have a community like this sharing. Like, it's very amazing. And I admire the people that comes out and speak and say what, some stammering ability might be stronger than mine. Mine might be very mild. Other people might be very strong, that for them to even say words, it can be very hard. But please, don't let that define you. As our moderator has said, please don't let that define you. Let us express our mind. Let us talk. Let us practice. Practice it for 30 seconds, 1 minute practicing. Consistency, I believe that it will surely be improved. It will surely improve the way we speak. And I also wanted to share something that I think in one of the monthly uh, meetings that we always have, I think we should encourage ourselves to just like just say like just practice a poem or write out a speech that we will like. I'm just saying that in one of these monthly programs that the community always plan, they could be like, okay, let's each person practice public speaking, and everybody that joined that group must say something, either you like it or not. So I think we should encourage that in the yeah, in the meetings, in some other meetings. So that's what I want to share. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Victoria. Thank you so much. And we've taken down your suggestions, and by our next meeting, we could actually start up something like that. Thank you so much. And I would love to say, or I'm thinking that you should actually be our guest speaker next month because I was blessed actually by just these few words that came out from your mouth. I was really blessed. So we are going to be considering you to be our next guest speaker for next month. What do you think about that, Victoria?
Yeah, it's fine. I can be part of the committee or whatever we want to talk about. I just want us to be creative, not just like I
Oh,
want people to also talk. Like I want this group to be like a very
mm,
active place because we're sharing our struggles. Like let's
yes,
say things. Let's in fact whatsoever it
exactly.
is, whatever way we can say it, let's just share it. Even if we are stammering, let's
Mm.
thank you.
Thank you so much. There's something that you said that really hit me hard. You said, don't let the shame to overwhelm you, just speak. Wow, that was very powerful. You just have to speak. Don't let the negative mindset or concerning stammering, or maybe you thinking people are going to laugh at you. Don't let it shame you. Speak. Speak. That's just the way you have to speak. You have to be confident. You have to have a positive image of yourself. And also, you say that you don't displace yourself because you're a stammerer. Because you're a stammerer, yes. You don't make yourself to feel low or have low self-esteem because you're a stammerer. No, 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 no. Thank you so much, Victoria. Does anyone else have a contribution to make or a question? There's somebody I'm expecting to hear from me. I've not heard from him, and it's actually making me feel somehow. Tawonga, you don't want to talk. What's happening today?
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
So I have two things that I want to talk about. The first thing was a question that was asked, like if you've ever seen a person or someone who used to stutter and you learned something from them. I was blessed when I was young. I had a related grandfather, so he had a severe stuttering problem. So he did. Okay, so he was a doctor, a medical doctor. So by the time I used to stay with him, he could barely talk to me. Like he would beat on his chest sometimes just to straight a point. So I used to wonder how does he talk with the patients in the hospitals, prescribing the medicines? How? So it's a question that used to bother me that much, but I never had the courage of asking him until this other time I was sick and I was diagnosed by the same grandfather of mine. So he explained the medical condition that I was in. I was able to get what he wanted to straight, but it was tough for him just to release the words. So he used to beat on his chest. You could actually see his blood pressure rising. Yeah, but in the end, he used to actually stress the points clear. So growing up made me realize that I too have the same stuttering condition. So because I've had experience from him, I told myself that this thing looks bad and it's something that I have to grow with, like for the entire life of mine. So when it came with time for me now to choose which program should I study, this stuttering condition was one of the greatest factor that came in my mind. But fortunately, I got redirected to a program that requires you to talk to people, that requires you to describe the problem you are in, the technical problems you are facing at that particular moment. So because of the direction, I went and did that program. So we were doing presentations, and honestly speaking, life was tough for me during my university time. I would do a group presentation, everything by myself, and then my friends would just present them clearly, and I finding problems in stressing the words during the class time. Secondary, another experience. There was a bishop who visited our church. So the bishop was a person who stutters. So as he was preaching, almost each and every way, he would repeat it for 3 to 4 times, like so God this and so on. So you would actually hear him, and then I would relate each and every word that he is stretching to myself to say. I hide myself. I don't want to talk in public. I don't want to talk to the people that I don't feel comfortable with. But then look at him. He chose to be a bishop for that matter. So a person who started and then he chose to be a bishop. So you can imagine each and every Sunday, each and every day, you have to talk to the worshippers. You have to talk to Christians each and every day. So each and every day it means your blood pressure has to rise. Each and every day you have to stress yourself. So I used to ask such questions to say, why did he choose that? Why? Until the answer came in me now to say, stuttering becomes a challenge when you hide yourself. So when you actually, are you getting me?
Yes,
Hello.
I'm getting. We are hearing you. Continue.
All right. So the main problem with stuttering is that almost each and every person who stutter tends to hide himself or herself. We might have some people that we can't hide from them. We talk to them while stuttering, but then we also have people who knows us and they don't know that we stutter. So we tend to hide from such people. Like in church, we would actually hide ourselves. Like you visit a new church, you can't stand up in front just to introduce yourself that they should welcome you. We can't do that just because we feel like, how will these people think? I will embarrass myself. What will be my relationship with these people? Like for us boys, you would say, all these girls that are in this church here, how will they, what will be the perception towards me after introducing myself? So we all know as stutterers, the most difficult thing is self-introduction, because you actually know what you are going to say at that particular moment. Stretching up your name is one of the challenge that you can face in life. So we tend to hide ourselves, and the more we hide ourselves, it's like we are feeding this stuttering problem to keep going on, to keep going on. But then, if we are able to open our minds, to open ourselves to the community, this stuttering goes out each and every time we expose ourselves to the community. So we have to engage ourselves to the community, because if we engage ourselves to the community, we become comfortable with the people around us. Like you starter in the first place, maybe in the church, and then each and every person you talk to, you would actually feel free because you've already shown them that you starter, and in the end, your blood pressure would not rise unnecessarily, and you'd actually talk to each and every person clearly just because you've already stressed yourself. So we don't have to actually hide ourselves. If we hide ourselves, that's the main problem. It's the factor that fits this stuttering problem. So let's be open. I still remember the word that was said by you, Prince, before. So you said we have to be bold. We have to be bold each and every time. So that boldness comes only if we don't hide ourselves. So we have to open ourselves and would actually see the blood pressure issue would remain low, because having a calm heart is what defeats the stuttering. And the calm heart only comes when we are open, when we open ourselves to the community. So we don't have to be anxious to say, I'm going to start and no, but we just have to expose ourselves to the community. And we would see. And the other thing is, when we are at a place, we cannot tell the people that starters. So those people, they can only be open if we are open. So we have to be open to the community, and the community will come forward to say, I want to join you. I want to help too. I starter. Help me. How did you overcome it? So for us to help them, it would require us to be open to the community. Once we are open to the community, we would actually see things changing in us. We don't have to actually try and remove this stuttering, but then we just have to have a free heart, a free mind. If we have that free mind, that's the defeat that we can offer to the stuttering problem. That's what I wanted to stress out from the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tawonga. Thank you so much. You said that stuttering becomes a problem when you hide yourself. The more we hide ourselves, the more problem we create for ourselves. But when we expose ourselves to the community, we become more comfortable and confident. Thank you so much, Tawonga. Thank you. I was so blessed by that. Thank you so much. So at this point, I think we've come to the end of our meeting today. And
Hello, sir.
hello, Mr. Deyemi. Good evening, sir.
I just think I just appreciate everyone, especially the
All right.
host and everybody that has spoken today, because I really find this helpful. At work today, I had an issue with my boss, and I was asked to either leave or move to another department that requires less speaking, and it has been a very bad day for me. But I came here today, and everything that I heard from you guys has really given me hope that I can still, I have others too that speak like me, and others that go through the same thing that I go through, and it has given me some sort of hope. So I just want to appreciate you guys for doing this thing that you are doing, and also the I think the other guy and the girl that talk, they said a lot, and I am so impressed. So I just want to appreciate you guys and ask if there's any group that I can join apart from, I think I think IG. So I don't know if there's any group that I can join apart from IG or
Hello.
that. So
Okay, Mr. Deyemi, thank you. We are
all right,
glad
sir.
that the program was so helpful to you. We are so glad. So I didn't get your question. Could you please repeat your question? The question you asked.
Okay, I said, is there any other group that I can join apart from the IG, or like is there any group that I can join?
For now, it's just our WhatsApp group at the moment. I don't really know of any other group. Maybe
Okay.
Victoria.
Actually, I'm not on it now, so I don't know
Are you
if
serious?
you can help and add me up on the
Okay. Could
group
you drop your
WhatsApp
number
platform.
on the chat?
Okay. Sure, sure,
Drop it
sure,
now.
sure, sir.
Drop your number now.
All right,
Yeah.
sir.
So I will add you immediately.
All right, sir.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. We are glad that the program had a positive impact on you. That is the goal of our meeting, that our program should have a positive impact on each and every one of us. Thank you so much. I have your number now, so I will add you to the group, or Victoria would add you to the group. Thank you so much. So I want to appreciate everyone for being a part of the program tonight. And I was really, really glad that we were able to contribute and say our minds. Thank you so much. And I hope to see each and every one of us in the next meeting next month. Yeah. Thank you guys and good night.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Good night. Good night.
Yeah. Good night, Victoria.